So in the we have to go to mantra number 9. Mantra number 9. I have to give a little bit about the last class. A little point was left. That is, we studied the mantra Sadhyaha Rushayaschaye. Sadhyaha I defined as Sadhana Shilaha. That means those who are capable of achieving whatever project they have taken. And then it also means Srishti Sadhana Yogya, that is those who are capable of creativity. So whoever is capable of creating the world, and at the microcosmic level, who are having creative power, and then who are capable of executing any project, we can call them as Sadhyaha. So Sadhyaha are actually one kind of the devatas of the gods. And then we have Rishayaha, that is the sages who perform the Manasa Purusha Yajna. Manasa Yajna means their mental capacity, mental ability, and that is also there. And we saw a question that was raised in the Shatapada Brahmana. Again, the Rishi of Shatapada Brahmana is Kanva. Kanva's contribution to our Vedic wisdom is extraordinary. We come across Kanva's brilliance in many parts of the Veda. He has touched and given us the mantras of every mandala of Rigveda. He is there in the Atharva Veda, he is there in Samaveda, he is there in Yajurveda, and politics, and bringing up the children, establishing the culture. There is nothing that he has not touched. Incidentally, I did a little bit of research on his background. He was a student of, as I said, Yajnavalkya. And then Yajnavalkya was living and residing and working and teaching in the present-day Gujarat. In Gujarat, if you go to, it's about a few miles north of the capital, and then that's the birthplace of Narendra Modi, incidentally. This is a place called Vadadara, and this is on the Kapila river, and that is where Yajnavalkya lived. Yajnavalkya Ashrama is there. And that's also where Kanva also resided. So I was talking to my Gujarati friends, saying that I would at least like to go there and walk in the place where these people walked. However it is today, that's fine. So this is in a district called Mehsana district, and that's where he lived. This is one of the Kanvas of the Shatapada Brahmana. We also have other Kanvas in different, because a person can take any number of names. How many Smiths are there, and then how many Ramas are there, how many Krishnas are there. So there are also like that. Kanvas also are many. But the Kanva of Shatapada Brahmana, he is the one who raises this question in Shatapada Brahmana, Ke te Rushayaha? Who are those Rishis? How can I identify? And then in the beginning of the creation, he says it is the life force that is the Risha. Pranaha va Rishayaha. So prana means they are the physiological systems that maintain us. So they are the Rishis. They constantly move about in our own body. Only thing is, unless you go and talk to them, they will not respond, they will not teach. But they are functioning constantly for our good. So prana va rishayaha. And then, how do they maintain the body? How do they maintain our life force? They are active 24 hours, constantly taking care of us. Similarly, they are constantly there in the environment, in the atmosphere, in the world. So in every involuntary, non-interfered activities that go in a very systematic manner are called as rishis. For example, the blowing of the wind, the flowing of the river, the satiety of water, the nourishing of water, the growing of the plants, the shining of the sun, all of these things happen without our asking for it, even without our prayer, even if we don't care for them, even if we abuse them, they do it. So how do they do that? What is the background? Because they do it always by shramena tapasa. by means of working and then giving their best with no expectation whatsoever. That is why we always say the sages, the rishis have to become our role models, because otherwise the human tendency is to tie every single thing we do to some benefit, some profit. So, but therefore here they give us the template of saying, can you do an altruistic work? Can you do without any expectation? So these are the rishis, and therefore shramena tapasa risham tasmat rishayah is the etymology. They actually supported themselves. So who is the most self-supporting person? A most self-supporting person is a selfless person. So they totally supported themselves only by means of shramena tapasa. That is why they never are quiet. They never say, I don't want to work anymore. I want to rest, or nothing. They will say constantly. They will be striving, and therefore they are. So here, up to here, we had seen. I wanted to give a cross reference to this, that Brahmajnana, the knowledge of the highest Brahman, is capable only by a rishi, is capable of obtaining only by a rishi. So we have a cross reference to this where Uma Haimavati of Kenopanishad, she says that it is only by means of tapas, by means of self-control called dhamma. Self-control or dhamma is a synonym for shrama. Shrama is effort. We control our sense organs and body only by means of effort. So, tapasa dhamena karmena is what the tasmai tapo damaha karmeti pratishtha devaha sarvangani satyamayatanam is the mantra from Kenopanishad. So, this is the instruction that Devi Uma Haimavati gives in the last one, saying that therefore, if you want to become a rishi, meditate, contemplate, learn, tapaha. Damaha, control the self. Karma iti, then be all the time active. All of these things according to whom, as guided by what, it is guided by the Veda. Veda means knowledge, wholesome knowledge. So it includes science, and it includes all branches of human endeavor. All of that is Veda. So these Vedaha sarvangani, along with all its limbs. So for a rishi, every subject is of interest. A sage is interested in mathematics and physics and science and space research, in medicine. Now, because as soon as we say a rishi, we think that he is one bearded fellow who is sitting in and then just chanting, muttering some mantras. No, on the contrary, they are extraordinary scientists capable of cross-disciplinary studies and teaching. And such people are always established in truth. So what does all this lead? Tapas, that is penance, damaha, self-control, and karma, which is known as doing everything with a worshipful attitude. They are called as the feet of the Veda. And then, because of all these things, they result in Atmajnana by giving us Chitta Shuddhi or purity of mind. So again, what is the source for purity of mind? Cleanliness of mind, Chitta Shuddhi. It is tapas, dhamma and karma. These lead to Chitta Shuddhi, and then Atmajnana is supported by Veda, all the knowledge and its branches, and therefore studying of the Veda, studying of knowledge, pursuit of knowledge, commitment to knowledge, Vedadhyana, it helps us understand the Brahman, the Swarupa of Brahman in all its aspects. As an example, that Brahman is the material cause, is the efficient cause. And from Brahman everything emanates. In Brahman everything survives. Unto Brahman everything resides. So these are all the detailed knowledge of the nature of Brahman. This can be obtained only through tapas, dhamma and karma. And why? What is the guarantee? The guarantee is that all this is established. Its home, its abode is truth. So see, truth is something that cannot be affected by time and space. So since it is established, since it has got a firm base, firm foundation in truth, all of these things will happen. That's why the entire Purusha Suktas, if you want to see, extract one single principle, it is telling us that all the basis of the Purusha Sukta is Satyam. So the Manasa Yajna, therefore all these sages are doing the mental Yajna. For what purpose? For the purpose of discovering this Satyam and finding the locus of this Satyam in their own heart. Because again, if it is somewhere else, and then that becomes an extra unnecessary effort. Suppose you have to go to the Himalayas to find Satyam. How many can go to Himalayas? Everything is right in your heart. To discover this Satyam, the Adhyatmika meaning of this mantra is tapas, dhamma, karma, yajna, all of these things clear the clutter of your mind, and then they will lead you to this, to the truth, the Satyam, which is deep in your own heart. So that is the spiritual meaning of the mantra number 8. So the mantra number 9, Tasmad Yajnat Sarvahutah Sambhratam Prasadajyam Pashudastaras Chakre Vayavyana Aranyan Gramyaschaye. This mantra and the following 2 mantras, that is this set of 3 mantras, actually speak of the things that were born out of this Srishti Yajna or the creative Yajna. So again, please don't forget that this Srishti, this entire creation, where is it emanating from? It is coming from Satyam. Therefore, since it is coming from Satyam, from truth, all this is established in truth. And therefore, whatever comes out of it in its manifestation has got to be truth. And when they actually return, that is, the manifestation is withdrawn, where do they return to? It goes back to truth only. Therefore, Satyam Ayatanam. Just like we stay home, from home we go outside, do whatever we have to work, and then finally return home. And even when we are outside, we belong to our home, isn't it? Will your belonging to your home ever disappear even if you are not at home? That is how we have to understand that even though the creation takes place, the creation is still established in truth only. So simple metaphor is just as we belong to a particular address, no matter where we are, no matter how long we live at home. So in this Srishti Yajna, the mantra says, Sarvahutaha Tasmat Yajnat Sarvahutaha. Sarvahutaha means the Virat Purusha, the great Purusha that we talked about, himself became the offering, the Homa Dravya. Tasmat Yajnat, from that Yajna, from that Sarvahuta Yajna, the meditative Yajna, Prishad Ajyam. Prishadajyam Tasmad Yajnat Sarvahutaha. Sambhritam means it was created, it came out. Prishadajyam. Prishat plus Ajyam. Ajya means coming from a goat. Aja is goat. So goat milk. Then Prishat it means, Ajya also means ghee. So you can take it as ghee plus Prishat means yogurt or curds. So when you mix ghee with curds, then it becomes Prishadajyam. So that is the etymology. So in the various yajnas, we offer ghee plus yogurt in the homa. But this Prishadajya is actually a metaphor for the primordial seed of creation. So every progeny is born out of the male seed. So that male seed or the semen is, when you extrapolate it into a universal beginning of the creation, that was the first seed that was created, that is the Prishadajyam, and this Prishadajyam is the Samasta Jagat Srishti Karana Viryam. It is the seed for the creation of the entire universe. And again, don't forget, it is centered in Satyam. And this was created Sambritam, and after this, Vayavyan, Aranyan, Gramyam, Chaye. So you can see everything that is created has got to have the union of a male and female principle. So there is the Prakriti, the female principle. There is the Prishadajya, primordial Prishadajya, the male principle, coming together. Vayavyan. Vayavyan means those who fly in the air, like birds. Aranyan means who are moving about in the forest. Then Gramyan, living in the towns. Is there any other place? All of these are critical for the existence of the world. You can see the earliest awareness of ecology was there by our sages in this mantra. They say all of these are so closely interrelated. If you disturb any one of these, then the whole creation will collapse. So Aranyan, Gramyan. So Pashun Vayavyan Tam Chakre. Pashugas Chakre Vayavyan. When you actually put it in prose form, this is in poetry form. If you put it in prose form, Pashun Vayavyan Tam Chakre. They created those which are moving in the air. Who? Pashun. Pashu means the animals. That is the literal meaning. Actually what it means is all the devatas that we talked about, Rishyaya, Sadhyaha, all of these things are actually Vayavyan. They are all moving in the Vayu, in the atmosphere. So Vayavyan Pashun. And what do you mean by Pashu? If you look at the dictionary, Pashu simply says animal. Actually, Pashu comes from the Sanskrit root Pashayati, Bandhayati iti Pashu. That means what is tied. Whatever, if you can take a rope and tie it up. And that tying process, whatever can be tied down is a Pashu. So it can be an animal, it can be a human being, but a human being, we all think that we are all free. But what are we tied by? Trigunas. Guna means rope. So we are all tied by the Trigunas. So the Trigunas are the ones which tie us and make us into Pashus. Pashayati, Bandhayati, iti. So it is also, we are also tied to make us secure. See, why are we tied by Trigunas? Because we have Sattva-rajas, Tamo-gunas. We have to be tied to Sattva-rajas, Tamo-gunas. Otherwise, in this body, in this mind, we will never be able to discover the truth which is within our own heart. So therefore, this tying is important.
So Sadhyas and Rishayas, they are not tied.
They are also tied. They are also tied because they are tied to karma, yajna, and tapas. Tapas. So the Atharva Veda actually classifies the Pashus into 5 kinds. That is Gavo, Ashvaha, Purushaha, Aja, Avayaha. Later on we are also going to see Gavo, Hajajnire, Tasma, Jata, Ajavayaha. Gavaha means all cattle, Ashvaha means horses, Purushaha means human beings, Ajaha means goats, and then Avayaha means sheep. So all these are created. So the number 5 in the Vedic context is extremely interesting and extremely important. So you will see that many sets of 5 are discussed. For example, there are 5 strands. Purusha Narayana, who is being offered as yajna, there are 5 strands. That is, they become tied beings, Pashus. Then the second set is Rukyajus Saman, that is speech, is also coming out of that. Then the third, a Purusha is classified in depending on his role that he plays, Guna and Karma, as Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra. And then the Purusha, the primordial Purusha's senses becomes moon, sun, Indra, Agni and Vayu. Agnir, Vayuradityas, Chandrama, Nakshatrani, but Nakshatrani is replaced by Indra. And then we have from Purusha the Brahmanda, that is the universal body also comes, that is Antariksha, Akasha, Bhumi, and all the 8 directions. So all of these things came in this one mantra, and the basis is Satyam, and Satyam transforms itself into the creation by means of the penance, tapas, Shrama or work, also Dhamma, control on our senses and control on our body, and then Karma, action. And all of them continuously supported by Satyam. So that is the essence of this mantra.